Hey guys, how you doing? If I sound funny, I'm just towards the end of having the flu. So I've been sick the last like 5 days at home. But it's given me a lot of time to go online and lose myself in the online world. I'm not a fan of it, but what else am I going to do? I'm stuck at home in bed or on the sofa all day. Um, and watching lots of videos talking about not just kids coaching, but coaching in general in jiu-jitsu, and how one guy was saying that, you know, even though he had black belt coaches and he was like a blue belt coach, his students were improving at a faster rate and stuff than those who were being coached by the black belt coaches and stuff like that. And I replied to it and I said, well, coaching ability isn't determined by your grade. Um, Technically, maybe, but if given that you've got two people who are teaching mostly white belts, which is what we spend most of our time doing, then whoever understands how to teach is going to do better, and the students are going to learn faster, and they're not going to be as confused. And if they're confused, then they blame themselves, and then they quit, and then you lose a student who otherwise could have been amazing in time, And so it makes me even more grateful that I have the coaching skills, etc., that I have. And I wasn't born with them. Yes, I had a natural interest in helping others, but when I was like 10 or 11 years old, maybe, it was primarily, it was my Taekwondo instructor who first noticed or took any interest in me. I was a very insecure kid. A lot of you know my story. I was like beaten up a lot by my dad and unloved by my parents and all this, and I was very insecure, and very shy, just wanted to keep to myself. And he started to teach me how to teach, first building my confidence as a person and getting me comfortable standing in front of the class, and me even moving through the grades and heading towards the front line of the class made me super nervous and I hated it. But when it came time for people to practice, I would always go off and help the beginners and the people that weren't quite as good as me and stuff like that. And so he took me under his wing and helped me a lot. And then when I got really seriously into table tennis and tennis and stuff like that, then they have, because they're Olympic sports, they have from novice grassroots level all the way through to Olympic level, not just steps as an athlete, but steps as coaches. And so I would go not initially as an athlete to the athlete clinics, and then once I reached a certain level, then I'd be going to the coaching clinics, or sometimes both. I'd be at a weekend and I'd be doing half as an athlete and half as a coach. And so carrying that then on into my personal training, when I got very interested in psychology and the physiology and stuff like this, and as a personal trainer, there were personal training organizations that specialized in teaching you how to teach. I went through all of that. So I've spent my entire life dedicated to the idea of teaching something physical and being able to explain complex things simply. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of jiu-jitsu coaches make. And I started making it as a purple belt. I recognized it in myself one day that I was feeling insecure, and I started like kind of wanting to drown the students in complex things to make them go, wow, like the fact that they couldn't do something, like they were almost impressed by that more. And then I caught myself and I realized what I was doing. And so I think one of the hardest things as a coach is to not overcoach, to be able to hold back and go, okay, like this is what they need right now, and I can teach them the rest another day. Or don't add too many things that are too similar in the same session. So it's really easy to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu as a good athlete. It doesn't mean that you can teach anything. It just means that you know how to do it, because you weren't going through the grades based on your coaching. You were going through it based on your ability to do it as an athlete, you as a person. And then taking what you know and then passing that on to others is a completely different thing. Enjoy.